So I can go here and say, cool. And I'll just, if you're not signed up into the service, because I had already downloaded this, it recognizes my account. But if it's your first time getting into Open Web UI, it'll offer you a sign up process as well. Okay. So notice this URL is localhost 8080, which means it's completely running on my computer. It's not it's not a website, right? That I'm looking at, and I get all of the list of models that I've downloaded. So Quen 3.6b is just what we downloaded, right?
Yeah.
But I downloaded this Llama 3.1b. I downloaded this Vision Model 3 billion. It's obviously going to take at least 10 minutes for it to download. Um, but I had those, and now you have options as to which model you want to work with. Imagine this. This is immensely powerful, right? More than what you could be doing with ChatGPT, because now you can compare between the quality of responses of multiple models which
Yeah,
have been
yeah.
chosen.
Yeah.
Exactly. So let's suppose I choose the Vision model here, and I was hoping to. This is going to take a little while, maybe 30 to 40 seconds, but I think it's important to demonstrate the power of this. So let's suppose I choose an image. Uh, So it's going to take a while because it's local, and this is a little higher end model. But if I'm talking to the other models, the response comes in split seconds, so it doesn't take too much time. But now imagine I don't care about the latency, or I don't care about how much time it takes,
Yeah.
right? And I want to upload my own picture. You know,
Uh,
I don't mind doing something else by the time it comes
Beautiful.
back for a
Yeah.
picture.
I
And
think
this is all
it's
happening without internet, right? So
yeah, true.
completely secure. Uh, I could be doing something with with my son's picture, right? Which I
Yeah.
obviously don't share with the world.
Yeah.
How do I care whether it's returning me a result in split second or a minute?
Yeah.
And now, see, you see these queries on the left-hand side. It's your own interface. You don't get a feeling like you're losing on the ChatGPT interface anymore. You can change the settings. You could change the theme of how this interface looks. If you are a fan of big white interface, it will turn out to be everything as white, or keep it black.
Yeah.
There are lots of things that you could be doing.
And nowadays, GPTs, at least like GPTs like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, the problem they're facing, at least with GPT, let's not go to DeepSeek yet. The problem is उसको आप इतना data दे देते हो ना, it's not able to recall. Then you need to put another command to even recall that data, because it's kind of collecting data from the metaverse, right? So then it's just too much happening at the same time for it.
Right. So there you have the response. The image depicts a man sitting at a desk in a dimly lit room, looking tired or stressed. So this is just an example, right? I mean, let's not question about the use of this, but you get what I want to say, right? You
Yeah,
get pretty
yeah.
much. These are multimodal models, right?
Hmm.
This is a vision model. But if I were to switch to, say, something like the lower end model, right? Let's just see. See, the response is pretty quick, right? So the text, depending upon what task you want to do. So this is something that I wanted to demo next, apart from downloading the model, which is how you actually create your own interface on your laptop, completely for free. So far, we haven't paid any single penny.
And what scale of data have you processed so far on this? Like, because you've already been doing this for some time.
Yes. So if you're a company or a startup like us, you don't spend on ChatGPT and the subscription of it. You basically do this on your own internal server and do all of your coding and all of your tasks with respect to that LLM. Because one of the main reasons is we want to keep our code secure. We don't want to be, copy and pasting all of our code into ChatGPT and then asking it to debug it. I don't think any company would want to do that.
Yeah.
So our implementation is slightly at a higher scale because we have GPUs to run these models. So we go with the higher end models. This is like a minified version that I'm showing on my laptop. So we use this for our day-to-day work.
So that would also mean, like, say, if you want to prepare an investor deck, can this
Oh,
help
yeah.
with?
Yes, yes, yes. So it's a reasoning model. It can help you think through a problem. It can help you create a proposal. All of the problem statements that you pretty much do on ChatGPT.
Yeah, so
So
this currently we are seeing the reasoning model, but like on Olama, there was also a possibility of downloading like a coding version of this, right? Which would help you code debug.
yes, yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes. That's what I'm going to show you next, right? So um, how so this is one application in which I am utilizing the models that I had downloaded.
Hmm.
Now, for a professional like me who's a coder, how do I utilize these models that I've downloaded? I'm not going to be coming to the chat interface all the time, asking queries on my code and then copying that code and pasting it into the file that I need to execute. So how do I do that? So the next step is pretty much you um, I'm not sure if you're an enthusiast or a coder, but in the coding world, everyone pretty much knows what Visual Studio is. It's one of the number one IDEs for you to code into any programming language of your choice. And again, just like how we downloaded the Olama, you'd have installables for all of the operating systems listed here. And you'd simply go and click on the installable that you want to download and have it installed on your computer, right? So I have a Mac. I've already installed Visual Studio on my computer, and I'll just open this to start with, right? So do you see this interface? This is the IDE.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and here you will have different sorts of plugins that you could, like for any software, you can have additions to the software with the help of plugins. Like in Chrome, you download plugins to do XYZ stuff, right? So similarly, with Visual Studio, you have an opportunity from the marketplace to download any plugin that you want to download. Let's suppose I go to extensions and I type continue. Continue is one of the plugins which will allow you to have your own copilot with the LLM of your choice. And this is a free installer, right? So
Hmm.
you type continue into the marketplace. This is how the marketplace pretty much looks. It lists down all of the plugins that you could download. And there's one plugin called continue, right? And I'll click on the install of it and it'll start installing that. Okay. Once I install it, I think the icon appears over here. Cool. So let's suppose I want to open up a new file, right? Um, okay. And I want to be utilizing my LLM to write code into this Python file. Let's suppose I'm writing a Python code for myself. I'll simply choose the LLM of my choice.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I downloaded Llama 3.21 billion parameter before. I'd choose that, or I can choose any LLM of my choice. I could be downloading a code instruct model as well. Right? Depends on you. It'll automatically detect all of the models that you downloaded under Ola, this plugin. So you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is choose the model which you will use to code. Right? And choose this. I say hi. Okay. Cool. So it has written a code for me in Python, right? For whatever stuff I want to do. So let's suppose you want to have an app of your own to have a to-do list. You could utilize this LLM, and then you basically insert this code into this file, yeah, and save this. I'm saving this on my desktop. Basically, I go to my terminal. Yeah. So what did it do? It basically gave me a function that could reverse a string, right? I put on this input string called hello world. Okay. I executed the code. It gave me an answer by reversing the string. So what did we achieve? We basically downloaded the model. We had a chat interface with the model using Open Web UI, completely for free. We downloaded Visual Studio for free. We wrote the code using LLM for free. The
For free.
extension is free. and we executed the code for free.
Beautiful.
That completes my personalization. That completes my workflow for whatever I need to do. I could be
Hmm.
installing this code on Raspberry Pi for my own interest. I could be doing my hobby projects, and I don't need to share it with the world as to what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I don't need to tell ChatGPT that today I have an intention to, hack my CCTV camera. I'm a
Yeah.
hobbyist. I can do whatever I want, right?
Hmm.
But for whatever question I ask ChatGPT or Claude, we are
Yeah.
basically enriching them and empowering them.
Yeah.
Whereas we could take total control in our hands to do whatever we want with GenAI. And by the way, the most important part is the free interface uh, that you are downloaded to talk to your LLM and all comes with voice
The
ability.
image depicts a man sitting at a desk in a dimly lit room, looking tired or stressed. He is wearing a light blue
So you can develop voice related applications as well, right?
Hmm.
Now, I've
AI
integrated the
chatbots as well,
sorry.
like AI calling chatbots.
Yeah, you could do all of that stuff with different applications that you can tie up with the
Hmm.
LLM that you have downloaded. And thankfully, all of those give you an option to choose the LLM that you want to use, right? So
Hmm.
the liberty is completely at my end to pick and choose. I I feel like I have complete control in how I want to have the AI
Yeah.
behave. You know. Um,
Absolutely. But like Anu, one very important question. At this stage, it is free. Do you think it's always going to be a free model, or then there'll be some caveat to this towards the later part of
once
the
you
year?
download once you download these models, no one can take them away from you. And also the companies which vouch for keeping these models for free have their foundation of AI or the spread
Hmm.
of AI in a way that they want to propagate AI in a very controlled manner. And the way you can do that is basically have everyone have some control on it. You know,
Hmm.
if you keep it completely enclosed and don't want to share it with the world like how OpenAI is doing right now, it becomes a little risky because you don't know how they're training these models. These models are really dangerous, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But here, imagine me not going to ChatGPT anymore for the next 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's significantly going to reduce the business of all of those agencies which release proprietary models. And in my own world, for my own sake, if I just have say one desktop computer at home, my entire family can just utilize this application. I
Yeah.
can control this for whatever measures that I want. I can internally, if I'm a smart programmer, I can internally program these, prompt engineer these to not talk about obscene content, to not talk about some dangerous content that my child doesn't want to, um,
Should be
uh,
exposed to.
yeah, exposed to or look at because it's still growing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 3 years old now. What is the way I would expose him to AI? This is the way, in a very controlled manner, And I would probably hesitate to ask him to go to ChatGPT directly or use
Yeah, yeah.
any.
Like for my niece also, we don't give her GPT access. She's completely off it. If she has questions, she literally sends it to us that, hey Masi, you have access to GPT. Could you pull this question for me? Like that's been set as a boundary for her for timing. And she's 12. I'm not sure how long we'll be able to hold that, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it. So yes,
Anu? Yeah, I had one small question. So, as you know, right, there's a wave going for cursor, windsurf, and all these tools, right, which are becoming mainstream for a lot of engineers.
yes,
Do you think this, VS Code or combining this with the VS Code can also become alternative for cursor as of today?
it is. It
Or
is actually right. So
It
I
should
mean,
no.
yes, there are different ways in which Cursor is slightly better than what we did just now, and obviously because it's a paid,
yeah,
subscription-based model, they're going to be throwing a lot of features which are a little ahead of what you can do with the free-to-use plugins. But to be honest, again, talking about India and what a normal student can afford, right? Let's suppose
right,
I'm an engineering student. I don't want to be spending even $10. I don't really have to stick with Cursor. I could utilize these free-to-use tools and get my job done. A lot of times, who's the best customer for Cursor? These are all corporates who can afford having coding subscriptions or this Cursor
right.
subscription for their employees. right? So in a market where it's highly competitive and you want to cope up with the pressure of delivering software as soon as possible through vibe engineering or vibe coder as we call,
Mhm.
sure, you should go ahead and have some subscription of Windsurf or Cursor. But for a
Right.
normal usage, I think this is still okay. I mean, and I just demoed you how a code is generated using chat and then you take it to the file. But you could
Mhm.
utilize the same for autocomplete as well. So
Mhm.
in Visual Studio for the plugin that we are using, there is an option here. Or let me see, how do I go to that? So I forgot where that option is here, but it basically asks you for what purpose do you want to download the model. Here we
Okay.
use it for chat, but there's another
Mhm.
purpose called code autocomplete. So
Okay.
as you write the code, it will autocomplete your code. So there's an instruct model or a code instruct model that can be utilized for that as well. We at work obviously we used Cursor. You know, this is the tutorial that I'm showing. All professionals use Cursor and Windsurf these days.
Yeah.
Uh, we all started with something like this, Copilot.
Understood. Right. But I think this is like a good start for a lot of people
Yeah.
who are just like thinking of starting tech somewhere rather than jumping directly on like tools like Cursor
Yeah,
or
paid
anything else.
version. No, first at least choose the free version. See how much output are you able to derive. Then you'll actually be able to calibrate as well when you're taking a paid version. What is the level of output there should be?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Makes
But like
sense.
one quick question. So when you're using Cursor, like does the data remain with you when you're kind of testing it out, or how?
When we use plugins, we tie it up with the elements that we use in house.
Hmm.
Does it make sense?
Okay.
All of
So it's
these,
the option which the tool
yeah,
gives
yeah,
in.
all of these plugins are always compatible with Olama. Most of the times they're compatible with Olama, and Olama is meant for you to utilize those models intelligently. Right?
Hmm.
You can't be sharing clients code, uh,
Right.
out in the world.
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. I think this is really useful, Anup, and like one depth topic, but that'll I think help a lot of individuals who are going to watch this video. So thanking you for thinking actually out of the box in the current trend of how to use AI. Right, a few of us are doing this as a segment, but this is like a very different topic in the segment as well. So thank you for choosing this one for
No,
us.
no problem. And trust me, for all those people who are watching, and even you, try one day out of a week without internet,
Hmm.
and with this, you'll still feel happy.
Yeah,
Unless
yeah.
you have a need to visit any other website, you won't
Hmm.
miss out on not
Hmm.
having internet.
Hmm.
So, um, so I think this is immensely powerful in terms of what you can gift yourself. And in as I said, in day-to-day life, we don't really care about how much we share with Uber, Ola. All of them really know our daily routine, and that's the
Yeah,
reason. The moment you chat something on WhatsApp, you get relevant stuff on Instagram, and all of that
yeah,
happens. Um, and that's really dangerous when I think of my own kid. I
yeah,
wouldn't want a kid to be growing in that environment where his life is so open and transparent, uh, uh, that he starts getting vulnerable.
yeah. Dark side of the AI and tech.
Look, like, where do you think, with like, let's just say in 5 years, do you think that, there are like bunch of reports that have came out, research papers, right, which shows that AI will surpass the human intelligence at some point within the next 5 to 10 years? Do you think that's the likely
And
case?
there is a strong consensus that yes, it will surpass, but I strongly feel that it will surpass in terms of the speed at which it will start taking the decisions. So it's not really the intelligence. I mean, if you still query ChatGPT on some basic problems of string manipulation, it will fail. So say if numerology is one of the topics, and if I were to look at Anup S, is the name that I use, numerologically it adds up to 5. There's every chance that if you ask ChatGPT to calculate the what is the numerological number of a string, it will give you a wrong answer, right?
Mhm.
So And these are some of the best models that we are talking about. So not so much in the intelligence part. Yes, it'll do a lot of complex decisions, but I feel the power is doing it in a very quick time. For whatever time you need in order to think through a problem. So you take 15 minutes, it'll do it in under 30 seconds. That's immensely powerful. And then to trigger simultaneous actions in those 30 seconds. So filtering, channeling leads, all of that stuff which used to happen, or even going through an entire PRD or a huge document of 150 pages. So, suppose you are a startup and you want to apply for a tender that is being offered by a government. It's almost 200 pages of document, and you are at the last date of application. It'll summarize everything for you and it'll give you key points and you're able to sort of make the proposal now. That to me is immensely powerful, which is already happening.
Yeah.
Okay, not so much the intelligence part. It's the ability to take decisions in a quick time. Um, and it's very subjective as to what intelligence is at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So, you're talking about emotional intelligence, you're talking about logical intelligence, or what exactly, right? And I believe that there's still going to be time for the AI to evolve on the the emotional quotient of things. So,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
is going to be the key at the end of the day. And I don't think that the world will surrender itself to AI completely for all the emotional needs so soon, because
Yeah.
it's still skeptical. But for all the factual needs and for all of the concrete and objective needs, I think it's already doing its part. So we are already into it, not really looking far into the future.
Yeah.
Makes
But yeah,
sense.
this was actually pretty good to see a depth of a use case, and I think it's anywhere good start for a lot of people who at least for the personal use they can definitely rely on this one. Wherein if they still want to have live information or something, maybe they can explore something like this. This makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, and what we actually did, you'd be surprised to know that more than half of the steps are actually the steps that are being utilized by startups to offer on-premise solution. It might
Mm.
look like a secret sauce, but this is what actually happens. You have a server of the client. You claim that you're going to be deploying all of the Gen AI applications on premise, and they're going to be completely secured. What essentially you're doing is you're downloading these models, running on their own computers, infrastructure, GPUs, and claiming that it'll run without internet. But it's really easy to do that these days. Now, the depth of scale that you want to handle and all of the DevOps behind it is a is a fact that which is handled by all of the professionals of the
Mm.
companies. But this is the gist of it. This is what you actually do in order to run the on-premise models. So it's not just relevant for freshers, but I think a lot of people who want to offer freelancing services for on-premise applications, they
Mhm.
could utilize this.
Yeah.
So, Anup, thanking you for kind of doing this with us.